only men, there's only women. Anyone that thinks anything else is mentally ill. You need help, you need psychiatric evaluation, you need to be sectioned if anything else.
We're here at the Honour Oak pub in Lewisham, London, England, covering the drag story protests and counter-protests.
What's happening here is that our values are being shifted. So we used to be a culturally Christian country. I would say we probably aren't culturally Christian anymore, but that void has to be filled by something. And it seems that people are latching on to woke values as a compass. But the problem there is that it's denigrating our way of life. And Western society, as we know it, is changing so rapidly that we haven't stopped to think, is this a good thing or is it not?
The idea of the nuclear family is starting to feel antiquated. It's okay to normalise people being weird or queer. It doesn't present a threat.
You've got Sam Smith. Would you thought Sam Smith 2 years ago would have gone from a suited guy to dressed up like a pork chop?
When you try and engage with some of these demonstrators on the other side, they won't talk to you, they won't engage with you, they just call you a fascist and walk away. So there's no dialogue. So that's a very dangerous thing when you live in a society where dialogue's totally broken down.
How's your veteran's pension, you fat Oi, that one needs his f***ing hard drive checking, look at him!
Oh, when I walk back. But what I'm angry about, this officer here, there we go again.
As soon as we saw the disgusting publicity that the far right were putting out, we knew that it was important to rally everybody together.
It's very explicitly a PG family-friendly event, but normalising the fact that people don't just conform to normal gender roles. It was not some kind of like subversive thing to, be perverted, which is what the far right are trying to accuse it of being.
There's a time and a place for drag queens. It's adult entertainment. It's not age appropriate for children. I think adults reading stories to children is a very good thing, but I don't think it should be corrupted with sexualised entertainment, and that's what drag queens are.
I work with gay, lesbian, transgender young people in a mental health service, and I think it was really important that they know that I'm here to stand up for their rights, that they feel safe when they come into my space, in my clinic, that they're meeting someone who will support them.
I understand the gay scene. I mean, I wasn't gay, but I've got off with men in the past, I mean, I'm getting on a bit now, but
I've got a problem when they demand on me to call a man a woman or a woman a man. I won't play those games. So if you're born a male and I know your name, that's the name I'll be giving you. So if you say your name's Diane, I won't be calling you Diane. Okay?
And why not? If it's someone's right to choose.
It's my Christian belief. You see my badge, this is the Grenadier Guards which I served, and I served with people of colour. Well, how can I be a fascist when I'm a British soldier and I was served, protecting people?
I'm a YouTuber, but I've got my YouTube taken down quite a few times because I was talking against the narrative. They're ruining family values, ruining traditional values. They're shoving it down the throats of 99% of the population because of the 1%, which is the LGBT community.
There was a chant today, it's just a wig and makeup. What are you afraid of?
drag queen, which is a subculture of the gay scene, which is fine, that's an adult area, and it's encroaching upon childhood.
I love drag, I love panto, so the idea that somebody has the cheek to tell us what we enjoy is just not going to happen. And bringing hate into our community, we're not having that either.
Why is there a need to introduce children to different kinds of lifestyles? We don't even teach 5-year-old children about heterosexual lifestyle. So why should we teach them about homosexual lifestyle?
The protecting kids angle is a bit of a smokescreen, if you will, and that really the issue is with the LGBTQ community.
Don't be stupid.
What do you say about that?
Don't be absolutely stupid. We've got nothing to do with it. I've got no problems with drag queen. But don't do it with their children. What have I got to do with LGBTQ QT.
It's not just in isolation. We've seen it happening, the far right sort of gaining a bit of confidence recently, and targeting drag queen storytelling sessions all over the place, as well as asylum seekers. So we know that they're trying to regroup, and we just couldn't let it happen.
I live in Plumstead, and I remember when we had the fascist... That's all right, I can walk and talk. I remember when we had the fascist bookshop, the B&P bookshop in Welling, and we had 3 dead young black men as a result of it. So I think, you can give no foothold to these people at all. I think it's just really, really important, that we just wipe them off the streets. And you can see 10 of them here today, to the thousands of people who turned out from the community. Nobody has any interest in those people and their ideas.
There's about 8 of you, mate. Go home and have a bath.
We're not saying it's abuse to children, but it's very close to it. It's not right. A little 5-year-old child being subjected to that. Goodness knows what the parents would, why the parents would let that happen. So that's why we're here, to protect children.
They're drowning us out now as we're trying to have a conversation. There is no dialogue. There is no common ground because there's no dialogue. And you can't get anywhere in life without common ground. So they need to stop shouting over people, stop being the fascists that they think everyone else is, and actually engage. And as a society, we can move forward.
I think they're all off now. 1 second. There's sometimes when there's a large crowd saying shut up, that people kind of keep their opinions quieter. I think that then breeds more. I think Brexit was a good example of that. Anyone that voted leave was considered racist, and everyone kind of kept quiet about it, and then the outcome was a bit shocking for most people. Let them have a platform. But it's also very good to counter it and prove that they are in the minority.
It's always worth trying to have a conversation before throwing the brick. There are people that will just immediately, villainize someone for having a controversial opinion. No one had to be violent. We had such a good turnout. Hundreds of people came to oppose 12 people from the patriarchal alternative.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah. And now I have a beer, so thank you very much. And
accept that you're sick in the head and you don't need to be anywhere near kids. Thank you for your time. Have a nice day.
I think it's absolutely a political-sponsored, government-sponsored mental illness. You think the government and the elite and the people in the matrix who really run the world care about children? They don't care about any of us.
These are all rent-a-mob. I don't see any local parents in there. Those people haven't even got children. I've come out here because I live just around the corner. Half of them look like they couldn't even get laid to have children. But these are other, local mums, and I just felt, I'm not going to be shouting at them.
I think it's been absolutely brilliant because we weighed them off about 10 minutes ago. They've gone and we've stayed. It's our community.
Fascist stop! Off the streets! Fascist stop! Off the streets! Fascist stop! Off the streets! Police protect the fascists! Police the fascists!
The LGBTQ social and political agenda are targeting our children and our teenagers. But look at what happened when I was talking. They had sirens on.
It seems quite a hostile environment at the moment, and there's not really very much communication happening. What do you think can be done to sort of improve that?
Stop shouting, stop swearing, take off your masks, take off your goggles, be a human being, come and talk face to face. It's very simple.
That would be an interesting conversation to have, more to understand why they're against something that they probably don't understand themselves, so the communication go both ways.
They might go on to get some of that footage there. So this is happening live now. People are trying to break the police lines, obviously to get at us and attack us, and that's what's happening. So who look more like the fascists? That's all I'm going to say.